Monday night, we are feeling right. And who haven't I pissed off? Man, do I love it. Man, do I love it. Monday Night Raw tonight from Philadelphia. Solo Sikoa. It looks like he didn't want to do the deed, ladies and gentlemen. Jacob Fatu had to do the deed. I don't know, man. Does it smell like Solo? Does it smell like Solo was on the outs? I think we may be headed towards that. Tag team title #1 contender contender tournament. We'll talk about it. And Samantha Irvin gone from WWE. What happened? We'll talk about it right here on the Raw Post Show, right here on Off the Script. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking the dark horse to the venue, man. And when I get there on this Monday night, make sure they're cold, because when I walk through those doors, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for October 21st, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Monday nights, wherever you may be. Oh my goodness, best in the world, Matt. with a $100 super chat tonight. That is like 1/4 of AJ Francis indie pay in front of 20 people. I did not have to get into a ring to do that and make that because I got the best fucking community in the entire space. Best in the world, Matt, with a $100 super chat. They say money talks. So here we go. I would rather this go to someone who has built this brand up in an industry known for cutthroats and sharks rather than a hypocritical fanboy that has billions and can't take criticism. You true fans will always have your back, JD. Absolutely. Best in the world, Matt. Thank you very much for your generosity. Love having Matt here. Thank you so very much, brother. Happy to have you here and happy to have everybody here on the Raw Post Show on this Monday night. It's been a very interesting day, man. A very, very interesting day. I told you guys it was going to happen. Said it on Saturday. I was at House of Glory on Friday. I immediately came home and got up to speed on SmackDown. And as soon as I watched everything transpire with the Bloodline, I knew exactly where we were going. And it's nice to see how everything played out the way that I absolutely called it on Saturday's stream. If you guys missed, I did do a SmackDown stream, not on Friday, but on Saturday afternoon. We called it on Saturday afternoon. The actions of Jey Uso in the beginning of SmackDown. That's what cost him the Intercontinental Championship tonight. Bron Breakker is now once again a two-time Intercontinental Champion. And it's not thanks to Solo Sikoa. It's thanks to Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu was the one who pulled the trigger. He's the one that landed the gunshot, and the wound was exploited by Bron Breakker. This was the best Monday Night Raw in the temporary 2-hour era. And it's nice to see them finally get the show back on track after it was a little dicey for a little bit. That first 2-hour Raw was not a good show. And then we go into a tape show the following week. Not a good show. This is easily the best 2-hour Raw in the temporary 2-hour Raw era before we move to Netflix. Jey Uso on Friday night told Solo Sikoa, next time I see you, things will be different. Man, did that come back and eat Jey Uso alive. He looked at Solo Sikoa and said, you're not uniting the family. I am not going to acknowledge you. You're still my little brother. I love you, but why did you have to get them? And I like the way that he accentuated them. And I like the way that he really kind of eyed Jacob Fatu. Makes him look a little bit more brutal, savage. Why did you gotta go get them? Anybody but them. There's a reason why the family didn't do business with them. And then he tells Jacob Fatu, if you keep eyeing me, I'm going to kick your ass and drop you right here. That obviously came back to bite Jey Uso in the ass because Jacob Fatu got the last word tonight. They showed up on Monday night, just like I expected. They cost Jey Uso the Intercontinental Championship, just like I expected. And we are off and running to War Games. Man, that makes Friday Night SmackDown from Madison Square Garden a little bit more interesting. Well, where are they at? They're in New York. I don't know whether they're at MSG or Barclays, one or the other. That makes Friday Night SmackDown a little bit more interesting on Friday night, which is shaping up to be a banger show. Looks like a pay-per-view level show. But I do have two questions before we get to the big, oh my goodness, is that what's going to happen? It certainly needs to be asked, because I mentioned it on Friday or Saturday when I went live with the stream. I got to mention it, because I would not be doing my job if I did not mention it. We did not get any heads up on Jey Uso showing up on Friday. I understand that Crown Jewel is a dual event. I understand that Crown Jewel is the Crown Jewel Championship matches. Gunther and Cody Rhodes, Raw versus SmackDown. I get that it's the Crown Jewel Championship. Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax, Raw versus SmackDown. But nowhere in the program on both Monday and Friday did they let us understand or know why we have defections from Raw to SmackDown and SmackDown to Raw while the doors are willingly open. WWE is breaking their brand split rules without a real explanation. I got to call it out. It might be small to you, but it might be a bigger deal to somebody else who genuinely wants just some explanation. I got to call it out. Not going to make a big deal about it. We went over it on Friday. But I knew that this was going to play out the way that it did on Monday. The second thing I want to call out is the fact that I don't know if WWE really planned for it to play out this way. I am not sure that they planned for Bron Breakker to become a two-time Intercontinental Champion this soon. It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't. I don't want to take the situation and discredit it because Triple H and his team, they have given us some good long-term booking. They've given us things to be excited about that play out over a period of weeks, period of months, to get excited about, to develop that investment from the fans into the product. I get it. But I don't understand. And I asked this question many, many weeks ago when we were discussing, do we take the title off of him in the first place or not? So I'm going to ask the question again. Did it make any sense to take the title off of Bron Breakker the first time after he just won it, put it on Jey Uso, only to put it back on him again for a second time in such a short span? Now, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And the reason why I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I got to bring it up, because I already mentioned it once before, I got to bring it up. I don't find it to be a big deal because of the long-term story that it plays into. Now, this leaves Bron Breakker without a story and without a challenge. I don't know who's going to be next. But I find it to be counterproductive to have Bron Breakker win the championship at SummerSlam and then drop it so soon to Jey Uso, only to beat Jey Uso again and become a two-time Intercontinental Champion in such a small period of time. Again, I'm not going to make a big deal about it because it played into a bigger story and Jey Uso got his moment. That's fine. They found a way to make it work. If the title switch plays into a much bigger story, I'm not going to sit here and flame the creative process because it plays into a much bigger story, a story right now that probably is the biggest storyline in all of WWE, and it's going to lead directly to the War Games teams being assembled. So I'm not going to really sit here and bitch about it because it does play into a bigger storyline going into Survivor Series. But the big question coming out of tonight is Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa shoved Jey Uso out of the way of an oncoming spear from Bron Breakker. The last thing that we saw Jey Uso say on Friday Night SmackDown was he still loves his brother. He's still his little brother. Solo didn't appreciate being called little brother. He wanted Jey Uso to come into the family and acknowledge him as the tribal chief. He shoved Jey Uso out of the way and protected him from Bron Breakker. Jacob Fatu then stepped in and finished the job that Solo Sikoa refused to finish. What does this mean for Solo Sikoa? Looks like to me Solo Sikoa may be on the outs from his renegade bloodline. Solo Sikoa really hasn't done much to keep the tribal chief name. He loses every single time he's in there. He hasn't really done anything to deserve being called the tribal chief. Is Jacob Fatu going to look at that and take that honor and that title away from him? Is there going to be a revolt within the bloodline to overthrow Solo Sikoa to a point over the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks before we get to Survivor Series where Solo Sikoa has to come groveling back to his brothers and groveling back to Roman to join the bloodline, the OG bloodline, battling against a Jacob Fatu-led bloodline, which would then enlist a fourth man, Hikuleo, Tola Tonga, or whatever they have trademarked as a name for him. That would be 4 on 4. Now, granted, I would like Sami Zayn in that spot, but we didn't see Sami Zayn tonight. Sami Zayn hasn't been seen on television, even during the build for Crown Jewel, where normally he is one of the more popular superstars that does end up on the Crown Jewel show. We haven't seen him at all. That doesn't mean we won't see him going into Survivor Series, but is War Games going to be 4 on 4? Is it going to be 5 on 5? We don't know. We don't know how it's going to end up. We still end up with Sami Zayn possibly at the end of this anyway. We just don't know. But then that means Jacob Fatu would have to enlist 2 other Samoans. Who is that? Who is that going to be? Here, Booker T mentioning the name of Jacob Fatu. Or not Jacob Fatu, Zilla Fatu. I think Booker T trained Zilla Fatu down at Reality Pro Wrestling. He's only had a year under his belt. I think he's got something like 30 matches under his belt. He's our Crown Jewel champion inside House of Glory. Is WWE ready to bring in Zilla Fatu or somebody else in the family on top of Hikuleo? I don't know. I don't really know. Is it going to be 4 on 4 or 5 on 5? But right now it looks like, to me, Solo may actually be overthrown as the tribal chief. He gets kicked out. He's got to go back. Obviously, he showed his allegiance. He loves his brother more than anything. He loves his family more than anything. Whatever they said, whatever Roman said, whatever Jey said, obviously stuck with him. It was enough to make him weak tonight. But Jacob Fatu's not going to stand for weakness. He may be overthrown. Jacob Fatu may take the Ulafala. Jacob Fatu may be the new tribal chief. And Roman's going to have to battle Jacob Fatu for the right of the Ulafala and to be called tribal chief. Or maybe we get, instead of Zilla, maybe we get The Rock. Maybe The Rock is the 5th man. Maybe we get The Rock leading the bloodline. Rock, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Hikuleo. Rock leading a renegade bloodline because of what Roman and Cody have done. They have broken his heart, and he wants nothing to do with them anymore. Like I had predicted back in April, The Rock pulling the strings. Is The Rock going to compete in a War Games match? I don't know. I find that very difficult to believe. I don't think that will happen, but it could be a possible scenario. I thought the ending to Monday Night Raw was great. I thought the ending to Monday Night Raw was full of intensity and intrigue and gets you excited to see what's going to happen next. See, this is the problem that I've been complaining about lately. Did you guys see the reaction to Jacob Fatu and Bron Breakker when they had a stare down? You audibly heard the octaves in the building rising, coming through your television. See, that's what happens when you create characters and story that people care about. That's what happens when you create characters and story where people want to invest in what they are watching. I don't get that on AEW television whatsoever, and I don't want to use them as the example, but I'm going to. Because they're the bane of everybody's problems right now. They're the topic of discussion. Did you guys hear that? Money. All I heard was fucking cha-ching. Money. I thought the ending to Raw really hit a home run. And I'm excited to see where they're going. Now, I did mention on Friday, is it too soon to start building all of this? Is it feeling rushed? building the bloodline, getting Jey back with Roman and Jimmy, getting Solo back with the original OG bloodline, being overthrown and having Jacob Fatu take the leadership position in the Renegade bloodline. Is it happening all too soon? Should they have afforded themselves more time? It's a very subjective answer. You can think one way and also think the other. I think that there is more than enough time because I mentioned on Friday, or on Saturday rather, when I did cover the Friday Night SmackDown show, WWE has been double dipping with shows. We're seeing Bloodline on Monday, we're seeing Bloodline on Friday. We're seeing talent on Monday on Friday, and we're seeing talent on Friday on Monday. So not only is there enough time, WWE is building this out and taking advantage of the two shows where the brand split seemingly is non-existent. So they could tell a story on Friday and then have it bleed into Monday. They could tell a story on Monday and have it bleed into Friday. So yes, there is theoretically more than enough time. I would have loved to see it play out, but sometimes the argument is with WWE and people who watch the product is that Triple H takes too long to let things play out. Not everything needs to be built over 9 months or whatever the case may be. This is playing out at a nice pace. Why do we need all this extra time to have this all play out when I think most of the fans knew exactly where it was going anyway? I think this is perfect. Though, I'd still like an explanation as to why SmackDown stars are on Raw and Raw stars are on SmackDown. Something, man. Give me something. A little bit of an explanation. But what I saw tonight and what they did was fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Very excited to see what happens on Friday night. Like I said, it's going to be a banger of a show. Lillian Garcia. She is back full-time, permanent, as the new ring announcer on Monday Night Raw, as Samantha Irvin is no longer with the WWE. We will go over that right at the top here. Tag team title contender tournament. We'll go over the winners and losers tonight. And the Wyatt Six have picked their next victims in the Final Testament. I already hear some moans and groans on social media about how this is not going to work out and create engaging and interesting television. We'll go over all that, including Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. Oh, my goodness, man. We are going to be eating pretty good, man. That feud is absolutely smoking right now. And we got a lot to talk about right here on the Monday Night Raw post, right here on Off the Script. Thank you guys very much for joining me on this Monday night. We got 2,500 people in the chat. That is 5 times more. That is 5 times more the people that AJ Francis has competed in front of for the entire month of October. Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started. If everybody wants to go to my social media on X and leave Mr. AJ Francis a nice comment, I would really appreciate it, because the guy blatantly lied in front of his entire social media feed that I didn't want the smoke, and that if I came up to him that he would have dropped me and there would have been consequences at a meet and greet that was for me and Mr. Baydala in Philadelphia. He lied. Because I did go up to AJ Francis, and I did shake his hand, and I did apologize for a potential misunderstanding. It's not my fault I know exactly how Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard operate. It's not my fault I predicted your demise and Hit Row's termination 6 weeks before it actually happened. They gave you 4. I overshot by 2 weeks. I'm sorry. How is that my fault? Do you think I called Stamford, Connecticut up and said, "Hey, Vince, I think we should fire that Mr. AJ Francis fellow"? He said none of it happened. Oh, but I got third-hand accounts of people who were there that saw it all happen. Shook his hand, I apologized, and he walked away as if he was too good to talk to me. I don't bullshit, man. Stop lying. Stop lying. More people were there to see me than they were there to see Mr. Francis. More people took pictures with me than they did Mr. Francis. You were at my meet and greet, brother. Not the other way around. Don't get it twisted. Hope you enjoyed the fucking cheesesteaks. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been one of those days, man. I did a video today that I would really love for you guys to go check out. Nearing 1 hour. It is my own personal Tony Khan, State of Tony Khan address. It blew up. And I know for a fact people in AEW saw it because they were rattled. Oh, my goodness, man. I never seen so many fucking crybabies in my entire life, man. We got Dax out here still crying. We got fucking photographers still crying. Oh, my goodness, man. Give me a break. We got sickos still crying. Oh, JD got cooked. Let me tell you something, man. I'm the one doing the cooking. Tony didn't cook nobody, man. Tony admitted that he watches OTS, guys. He watches off the script. Oh, man. He watches Jesse and I every week, bro. For 5 years. That's a massive W in my book, brother. Go check that out. It's on the homepage. Easy for you to find it. You'll see his mug all over the thumbnail. Go check it out. It's well worth your time, believe me. We are working on a State of the AEW address. Or State of AEW address. Thursday stream. I don't know when. I got to discuss with the team what's going on. But it may be Mr. Me and Andrew Baydala on Thursday. Reconnecting. Getting back together for a one-time deal special event right here on OTS to talk about what's wrong with AEW and how do we fix it. It's going to be a big one. We're going to be taking questions. We're going to be taking concerns. We're going to be reading comments about why you guys don't want to watch AEW currently. What's wrong with it? Why you stop watching? Why you are watching less? It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show, man. I can't wait. No, I'm not asking Solid Monster to do it, man. Solid Monster's already got his plate full, and he's got me on Tuesdays. I don't think he wants me an extra day. He's probably sick of me by now. Probably looking at social media and saying to himself, why the fuck did I work with this guy on Tuesday nights, man? Can he keep his fucking mouth shut? Holy shit. But we love Ross, though. We're going to work with Ross, hopefully closer to Survivor Series. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. David, isn't Baydala an AEW shill? No, he's not. That's why he's on the show. That's why him and I are going to do the show together. For that very reason and for that very comment. Follow me on social, man. It's been a wild ride tonight. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes. Here on Off the Script. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show as always and read through your super chats as always. And tonight's show is sponsored by my great friends over at Magic Mind. Maybe we should give AJ Francis some Magic Mind, man. His mind seems a little fuzzy. He can't recall what happened in Philadelphia in April. Maybe he needs to get his mind right with some Magic Mind. Make sure you guys check out Magic Mind, magicmind.com/JD from NY. 20% off your first purchase or up to 47% off a subscription using that code JD from NY20. And once again, I got to thank Deviate. Shout out to Deviate, man, for the incredible Mustang intro and outro that they've created. Unbelievable stuff, man. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. I love watching it. I may even extend the intro just to revel in its greatness. Love it. Monday night, start with Samantha Irvin. I was going to, I'll probably do a video on this tomorrow too, but we'll briefly go over this. Samantha Irvin. She is no longer with the WWE. Randomly tweeted out that she is no longer with the company and she will be leaving, and tonight was her last night on the show. So everybody asked already, where is she going? Is she going to join Ricochet in AEW? Is she doing something in music and can't do pro wrestling anymore? Is she ready to be a mother and settle down and have kids with Mr. Ricochet? She tweeted out today, WWE Universe, my time has come to an end. As your Monday Night Raw ring announcer, I love you all tremendously, and this does not mark the end of my art. I have a lifetime more to share. Thank you to every WWE fan who accepted me. To the women's locker room, you are the most incredible group of people on the face of this earth. I am beyond proud to be your colleague and friend. To the crew and cameramen, I can't thank you enough for the encouragement and the laughs. You created such a wonderful, positive atmosphere. Love you all. To the WWE superstars, past and present, I've thanked you since 1989 and will continue to thank you for the rest of my days for entertaining us, for raising the bar over and over again, for risking your bodies and finding new ways to keep us shocked and wanting more. There is no form of entertainment like this, and not just any entertainer can be a WWE superstar. The respect I have for you is more than I can express. Thank you for making it so easy to pour your emotion and excitement into everybody's introductions. You are the stars that the stars idolize. It doesn't get any bigger, and I'm proud to have used my voice to let the world know it. Thank you, Paul Heyman, Michael P.S. Hayes, and Michael Cole. I will continue to apply what I learned from you to every aspect of my career. Thank you for invigorating my creativity. Thank you, Brian Road Dogg James, Scott Armstrong, Gabe Sapolsky, and George Carroll Jr. for giving me my first opportunities to rise to the occasion. Thank you, Triple H, for trusting me and showcasing me on this platform. Thank you, Mark Henry, for giving me my big break. I hope I made you proud. Thank you to all the coaches, producers, medical, writers, talent relations, makeup, photography, social media, digital, travel department, catering, merch, 2K team, referees, security, and announce team for everything you did to help me along the way. To my fans, my entire career, I've been waiting for you. We are meant to be, and I can prove it. Stay tuned. All my love, and still, signed, Samantha. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select put out a story behind the paywall, and he said sources would be shocked if AEW didn't try to bring in Samantha Irvin. Man, I think this is going to create some really engaging and friendly conversation on social media. It's already begun, and people are fucking virgins, to say the least, who have absolutely nothing else to live for. Got the WWE people yelling at her for walking away, and the AEW people claiming that they're going to steal her away from WWE, and the endless cycle goes around and around. Thanks, Tony Khan, for all that you do for the toxicity of social media. Sean Ross Sapp reports, Samantha Irvin is finishing up with WWE, leaving a big gap in the ring announcer team for WWE. Everyone that we spoke to in WWE had high praise for Samantha Irvin, both before she made the announcement and following that. She thanked virtually everyone involved in WWE en route to her exit. Many of the staff at WWE say they were surprised by the news, as she couldn't have possibly informed everyone before leaving. One noted her as a presence that made the workday better. There were others close to her that claimed that they've known this was coming for a month. When we immediately asked sources within AEW about a potential of them bringing her in, we didn't get answers before press time. Numerous sources we spoke to in WWE and AEW said that they would be shocked if an attempt wasn't made. Irvin's fiance, Ricochet, joined AEW in September, and he debuted it All In. Despite leaving some of the company surprised by today's announcement, there were many others we spoke to who expected her to make an exit after Ricochet did, noting the ease of schedule on their family. It's important to note that Samantha has not mentioned what her motivations for leaving WWE were. In comes Lillian Garcia, who we saw tonight, and she made her return to WWE on Raw and is the permanent ring announcer for Monday Night Raw moving forward. I found it very bizarre. I want to start off just talking about the realization from a fan's perspective. How this woman is heralded as the second coming of Howard Finkel. How this woman is praised as the greatest ring announcer of the generation. How there's nobody like her. Nobody has a voice like her. How she did this job with ease and was so amazing at what she did. At the height of her popularity, she hasn't even gotten to the tip of it. Wasn't even the tip of the iceberg for Samantha Irvin. There was so much more on that plate for WWE. The funny thing is, and the unbelievable thing about it is how big of an impact she made in the short time that she was there. She was only there for 4 years. I mean, we first started to really kind of see her come into her own when they gave her that main roster spot. She hasn't had that for long. The amount of time that she's been doing this and has had the impact that she's had is unbelievable. That's a testament to how good she is. But to get up and leave in such a rushed manner, out of nowhere, at the height of your popularity, I mean, what am I supposed to think? What am I supposed to think? Am I not supposed to think that's fucking weird? Or bizarre? And the thing is with these pro wrestlers, man, they're so soft. They're all so soft. Mind your business. It's none of your business. It doesn't matter. She's doing what's best for her, blah, blah, blah. Like the fans can't ask questions. You don't think the fans have the right to ask fucking questions about such a major change on the fucking show willingly out of nowhere? Watching the show weekly, every single week, you don't think fans are going to ask questions about why? Then everybody dances around it cryptically. Of course fans are going to ask why. They have every reason to ask why, just like Samantha Irvin has every reason to not give us an explanation. Soft. The disconnect between pro wrestler and fans. They hate you. They all hate you. They hate everybody. They hate what we do. Point blank, period. So that kind of made things a lot cringy, a lot more cringy today. With that said, I don't know why she would leave WWE. I'm not going to ask why. All I'm going to do is say, I wish her nothing but the best. I wish her absolutely nothing but the best. She looks like a sweetheart. She was fucking great at what she did. She wasn't everybody's cup of coffee. It's fine. People have different flavors. Some people like vanilla cream in their coffee. Some people like caramel cream. Some people like hazelnut. Some people like no cream in their coffee. They just drink it black. Cream with no sugar, whatever. Comes in all different flavors, man. You could have your coffee any way you want. She was not everybody's cup of coffee, but she was fucking great at what she did. She elicited emotion. She gave big-time title matches and big-time moments the feel that is absolutely necessary for the moment. She gave you her all to make that moment matter. And she put every ounce of her fucking voice into what she did. That is very difficult to duplicate. You're not going to get that with a Lillian Garcia. You're not going to get that with a Mike Rome. You're not going to get that with an Alicia Taylor. You're not going to get that. I'm sorry. There's nobody on that roster that is going to be able to duplicate what Samantha Irvin brought to the table. And whoever lands her, whether it's in WWE, return, and this may be a little hiatus, or she goes to AEW, or goes to any pro wrestling promotion for that matter, they will be lucky to have her services. I wish her nothing but the best. Does she want to go and continue in pro wrestling? That is only up for her to decide. Because that's the first thing on everybody's mind. Oh, she left WWE to join AEW, be on the road with her husband because the schedule was way too much and they never got to see each other. That obviously is going to be at the top of everybody's, maybe it's that list. I wouldn't blame her. And she wouldn't be the first to want to do that. Does she want to be at home and have children? Maybe she wants to be a mother. I don't know. That's up to her to want to do. WWE can't stop her from doing that. If that's what she wants to do, then she has every right to do that. But I will say, AEW has supposedly this new Shockwave show coming to a Fox entity. Now, I don't know what's going on because this wasn't announced. It's rumored. It's still in negotiations. AEW, if they're on Fox, it looks like AEW could be potentially lining Shockwave up to be presented as a big deal. And for it to be a big deal, they can't have Tony Schiavone. They can't have Excalibur, Sockhead. They can't have Nigel McGuinness or Chris Jericho or Taz or any of the guys that they have doing the commentary now doing commentary for Shockwave. They can't. Shockwave needs to be a completely different experience from the normal AEW gibberish. It needs to be a different experience from the normal slop that Tony Khan delivers on Wednesday and Saturday. We don't know where this show's going to air, if it's going to be Fox, FS1. We don't know what day of the week it's going to be on. Rumor is it could be Tuesday or Thursday. But if they are looking at going to a Fox entity, and Shockwave is going to be made into a big deal, I could see Samantha Irvin being the centerpiece to make that show stand out as different on Fox for AEW. I could see them going out there and giving Mauro Ranallo an open paycheck to come, or an open blank check to come and do commentary for 1 hour on a weekly basis for AEW. That's what they're going to need to do. Because we all know AEW needs change. They desperately need change in any way that they could get. And if she is going to AEW, obviously to be there with her husband is number one. And AEW could certainly use her services. Just throwing that out there. Now, again, Shockwave's not announced. It's not confirmed. It's all a rumor right now. Fox is just a rumor. But I could certainly see that being the case. But just to give up WWE, to give up everything here in WWE to go to AEW, I mean, it's just very, very random. But we can't stop her. That's a decision that she financially made. That's a decision she made with the best interest of her family in heart. So we can't really question why she did what she did. She did what she did because she thought it was best for her. And we as fans need to stay in our lane and wish her nothing but the best. I am sure this is not going to be the last time we see Samantha Irvin on pro wrestling TV in 2024. Good luck to her. I wish TK would future endeavor most of the commentary team, never mind Excalibur. Listening to Mauro Ranallo call Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling tonight absolutely puts the AEW commentary team to fucking shame. Absolutely. This is why I've been saying I don't understand why he hasn't already gone out and signed Mauro Ranallo. I don't get it. That man should have been on the payroll fucking 3 years ago. Oh my goodness, David Thiering with a $100 super chat. We have now come to at least half of AJ Francis's earnings in the month of October with another $100 bomb, and we didn't have to get in the ring and wrestle on an independent wrestling show in front of 20 people to do it. David Thiering with a $100 bomb. Hey, JD, it never ceases to amaze me how fickle and childish the IWC can get. For the stream on Thursday, when you discuss the state of AEW, I've got an idea on how to end it if you choose. Hey, Tony Khan, do we have your attention now? Hashtag fuck the haters. Hashtag OTS for life. Love it. Absolutely love it. David Thiering, thank you so very much, brother. Always love having David Thiering in the chat right here on OTS. Awesome, 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 awesome. Monday Night Raw. We start off at the top. Show started off in a wild, wild fashion. We got the then, now, together, and forever intro, like usual. And Joe Tessitore introduced the show as they showed fans gathering outside of the arena chanting, yeet. They showed Jey Uso and Bron Breakker backstage. They also showed the Crown Jewel Championship being carried in a case and then revealed, and it was in this long box. If you guys didn't watch Friday Night SmackDown, it's like carried by CIA guards. This thing is under fucking lock and key. They showed American Made crossing paths with the Alpha Academy backstage. They showed Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. And they showed Bronson Reed arriving. Seth Rollins all of a sudden jumped him from behind. Security pulled him away as he bashed Reed with his rolling suitcase. Seth Rollins yelled, "I was just getting started." So a camera followed Seth to the ring as his music played. Seth immediately called for his music to be cut. So we didn't get any sing-alongs tonight. He told Reed if he wants to be famous, then come to the ring and let's fight. He threw the mic down. They showed a security guy flying from the stage and flipping onto his back. Reed then followed and pushed past a bunch of other security geeks. Adam Pearce and other producers and referees and agents started yelling at him. Seth took a big running leap from the ringside area off the ring to outside and landed on Reed and a crowd of security. Reed then came in, entered the ring, and brawled with Seth. Security then once again tried to pull them apart, but Reed and Seth knocked them out of the ring very violently. Reed gave Seth a Death Valley driver. He began to climb to the top rope, but Seth rolled to ringside. Reed leapt off the ring apron onto him on the floor. He then cleared the announce desk. He climbed on top of the table, held up a security guard, and tossed him into other security guys who were still out there on the floor. Reed, he jumps up on the security barricade. He jumps off the security barricade with Seth laying on the announce desk. Seth moves, and Reed tsunami splashes the empty announce desk, which collapsed as fans chanted, "Holy shit, holy shit." As once again, USA Network mutes the entire fucking audio of the show because we're not allowed to hear holy shit, holy shit. God, I can't wait for fucking Netflix. What a wild open. What a wild open. Hey, it's great to have Seth Rollins back, number one. Number two, how good does Bronson Reed look, man? He looks fucking great. One of my favorite things about the entire company right now is Bronson Reed. This match is going to be a banger. I'm so happy for Bronson Reed, man. This is all it took. See, this is how you create a star. This is how you create a monster. Bronson Reed wasn't put on television and then taken off 6 weeks to let die. They built his momentum week after week after week. They gave him a little mini feud while Rollins was out recuperating. And now Rollins is back, and now they're picking up the pieces where we last left off with him tsunamiing Seth Rollins 6 times 2 months ago. This was great. And if you guys need any more of a reason why Raw is the better show over SmackDown, it's segments like this. Raw does the chaos and the chaotic segment a little bit better than SmackDown does. SmackDown is just very formulaic. They are in their lane. They don't like to stray from that lane. Raw likes to bring the unpredictability and the chaos every now and then. And that's what separates Raw from SmackDown. Segments like this. Love it. This was so good. Backstage, Jackie Redmond interviewed Io Sky and Kairi Sane about their match tomorrow night on NXT against Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Trash Legend? It's Lash. Lash Legend. I'm sorry. They were interrupted by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. No more smiley Raquel here. Liv sent Jackie Redmond away, and Redmond hung her head and left. Bye, says Liv Morgan. Liv said Nia Jax came to her show last week because she's jealous of her. She said she'll beat her for the Crown Jewel Championship at Crown Jewel as well. Io and Kairi interjected themselves here. Liv says they forgot about them. She said they could be women's tag team champions again anytime. Sky and Kairi challenged them to a match tonight. Liv agreed to it and then closed with her cackle, her laugh. Very annoying laugh. Liv is a beautiful woman, but her laugh is not very beautiful. Tag team. New Day. Authors of Pain. This was a qualifier for the WWE Containers Tag Team Title Tournament. Yes, Lillian Garcia made a huge botch in her first night back in the opening match of Monday Night Raw, where she announced that this match was a #1 Containers match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Now, I get it. Everybody flubs a line or two. I do it at House of Glory. I flub a line or two. Nobody's perfect. We've heard Michael Cole flub a line. I mean, Michael Cole called Kevin Owens Kevin Dunn on SmackDown last week. Shit happens. But a lot of people were going in on Lillian Garcia, man. You know, the thing is, she's been out of the game for a little bit. She's got a powerful voice in her own right. Let her get, integrated into the product again and let her get familiarized with the show again and doing this on a weekly basis before we start fucking hanging her out to dry and already casting her off as a fucking absolute non-entity compared to Samantha Irvin. Everybody gets nervous, man. She's got to wipe off that vocal rust. It's all right. It's not going to be the end of the world for Lillian Garcia. You're not gonna lose sleep over Lillian Garcia. Though I will say, I do think that there might have been a little bit of a rush job to get Lillian Garcia back. I don't know. Listen, I wasn't the biggest Lillian fan. I wasn't. I don't really see what's so special about Lillian, but I guess she'll do for now. So, we have the War Raiders already qualified, and we will get one of these teams here, either the New Day Authors of Pain, or the Creeds, or the LWO, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. That was the other match tonight on Raw. So, we go into a commercial break. And before the break, we have Miz out there. We have Karrion Kross out there. And Kofi Kingston made a hot tag after the break and ran wild on Rezar until Rezar hits a fallaway slam. R-Truth came through the crowd and attacked Miz, who was at ringside with the rest of the Final Testament. Karrion Kross tried to save Miz, but Truth nailed him with a big thrust kick. Rezar was distracted, so Kingston rolled up Rezar, and the New Day, they go on to win and advance to the finals of the Tag Team Containers Tournament. So Truth celebrated in the ring afterwards. Kross and the Final Testament attacked Truth. Kofi and Xavier had already left the ring. Kofi's wanting to save R-Truth because he was out there helping them win the match. Xavier did not want Kofi to go back there and save R-Truth. He's like, no, we got the tag team titles to win. We can't go in there and risk ourselves. The lights went dark. All of a sudden, we hear the Wyatt sound effects go off. The Wyatt 6 music plays, And you know what's next. When the lights go out, you see the Wyatt Six emerge from the darkness. Lights came on. We see Nikki Cross leap onto Scarlett as the rest of the Wyatt Six attacked the rest of the Final Testament. Miz stood in the ring smiling at all that was going on. Uncle Howdy came up from behind the Miz. Ellering shoved Miz out of the way. But then Uncle Howdy put the mandible claw on Paul Ellering. Uncle Howdy extended his arms and starts laughing at the work he and the Wyatt Six have done with the Final Testament. Now, if you were to ask me, JD, are you excited about a potential feud between the Final Testament and the Wyatt Six? My immediate answer would be no. I did not care at all about this whatsoever. But I will say, and I've said this for a few weeks now, if you guys are not paying attention to what Karrion Kross is doing outside of WWE Raw, if you're not paying attention to what he's doing on his YouTube channel or what he's doing on social media, I would urge you to pay attention. I don't know why we don't see that version of Kross on the show. I'd love to see that version of Kross actually on the show. I wish they would do more to accentuate who he is as a character, but they don't. I am more interested in seeing Kross and Howdy interact than anything. The immediate feud of the Wyatt Six and the Final Testament does not get me excited. American Made, it is what it is. It was a good beginning feud. I think the overall vibe and the presentation, because the Final Testament haven't really been booked all that well, is for the Wyatt Six to go out and feud with Chad Gable, which everybody loves and appreciates and respects Chad Gable, so I don't think many had a problem with it. I think more people had a problem with American Made not really getting a victory and them looking like losers every fucking week. I think that was the only downside to the entire feud. But if you're going to take the Wyatt Six and then feud them with American Made, have them run through American Made, and then their next feud legitimately involves Final Testament and The Miz, I don't know what you expect people to think other than being disappointed. Final Testament hasn't been booked great. Miz is absolutely just fucking he's not must-see TV, channel-changing TV. He's not important. Whatever they have him doing right now, it is not interesting and not important in any sense of the word. So if you're a Wyatt Six fan, I don't blame you for being a little disheartened that this is their next feud. But I'm going to give it some time. I'm not going to give it a lot of time, because with the way the Final Testament's been booked, they need to make an immediate impact. Remember when the Final Testament was first put together? They feuded with the Hurt Business, or whatever the fuck their names was. They were the Pride. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, whatever. They should have been the new Hurt Business. The Pride. Remember that? Yeah, I would rather not to. That didn't go anywhere. We never found the reason as to why they were feuding. We never were given a reason to care. It was just random matches for the sake of having random matches with two fucking groups that nobody gave a shit about. Now you want me to care about the Final Testament and the Wyatt Six. Granted, the Wyatt Six are great, but what are you going to do to make me get to that next level to care? That's what I'm going to be looking forward to. Kross and Wyatt. That's what I'm going to look forward to. Or Bo Dallas. Uncle Howdy. That's what I'm going to look forward to. The interactions, the promos, the back and forth. But if we have anything to go off of, the Final Testament last feuding with the Pride didn't really do anything to even spark a fucking match. So you're going to have to go about this a little bit differently and give us much more reason to care. Because right now, I ain't seen it. So, we go from that to Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly asked Jey Uso to address what happened on Friday. Jey said he is in the city of brotherly love, but he has no love from his brothers tonight. He said by the end of the night, he's going to still be champion. Yeet. We got a vignette airing with Raquel Rodriguez vowing to prevent Rhea Ripley from taking the Women's Championship from Liv Morgan. She said the only reason Ripley rose to the top is that she was gone, and now she's back. Rhea should walk away, but she won't. And I know she won't, so I will end it. Raquel Rodriguez is not really having a good go on Monday night. Monday night has not been good to Raquel. She has not had any impact whatsoever. And Monday Night Raw, with Raquel Rodriguez joining Liv Morgan, I remember this feud being so hot, man. People couldn't get enough of it. I can't wait for it to be over. I honestly can't wait for it to be over. I think adding Raquel has done nothing but made it all worse. And I'm being brutally honest with you. There really is nowhere else to go. Liv has Rhea. Liv has the championship. Liv has Raquel. Rhea's outnumbered. Let us get through War Games and get us the fuck on with this and just end it. Saturday night's main event is and should be the last time we see Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. That's it. I'm sorry. I don't want to see any more of this at all. Io Sky and Kairi Sane. They defeated Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan via disqualification. Lash Legend and Shakara Jackson were in the front row for this match. They have been on every single show the last 2 weeks. They were on last week's SmackDown. They were on Raw. They were on NXT. They were on SmackDown this week. Now they're on Raw. Now they'll be on NXT tomorrow. I believe they're wrestling Io and Kairi on NXT tomorrow. Why are we pushing Shakara Jackson and Lash Legend so hard? I don't get it. Do they look terrible? No. I wouldn't say they're terrible. But man, oh man, I do not think, I said this on Friday, I do not think that they are main roster ready whatsoever. I don't understand why WWE is putting so much emphasis on their women's tag team division when it's doing nothing but harming the tag team division. It is nothing more than random matches for the sake of having random tag team matches. There's no story. There's nothing to get invested in. How am I supposed to be invested in a 3-minute Shakara Jackson and Lash Legend match because they are not ready for the main roster? What is Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair doing with those tag team championships that I am not seeing that other people are seeing? I don't see it. In fact, the only thing I see is Jade Cargill bringing Bianca's stock down. I wish that they would burn the championships and introduce a women's intercontinental title. That's what I do think is the best course of action here. Sky and Sane tried to use their speed here. Raquel looked like she was so out of place and so lost and so, I don't know what the fuck she was, but she didn't look good tonight. Raquel Rodriguez looked awful tonight. Now, again, that has a lot to do probably with being out of action since February. But holy shit, did she look bad tonight? Flopping around in there, she's looking like she's moving in fucking quicksand. Looks like she doesn't know how to wrestle. What are we doing here? Absolutely zero chemistry with any of these women in the ring, including Liv Morgan, who didn't really get into the match. She stayed on the apron. She played the heel champion. He didn't want to get in and do any work. So Rodriguez tried to use her power here. Rodriguez took both them out with clotheslines. Io made a hot tag. She hit Morgan with some strikes, wrapped Rodriguez's leg in the ropes with a dragon screw, and hit Morgan with a springboard dropkick for a 2. Kairi then hit an assisted elevated elbow drop, but Rodriguez broke up the cover. Kyrie ducked a charge, and Rodriguez went shoulder first into the ring post. Got an uppercut here by Io. She knocked Morgan out of the ring, and Io drop-kicked her into the barricade, which looked nice. Sky saw Legend and Jackson in the crowd, so she yanked Jakara Jackson over the barricade. And just as things were really getting going with Io and her offense, Lash Legend punched Io, and we got a disqualification. Because Io and Kyrie were not going to defeat Raquel and Liv, who is the women's champion, who is wrestling Nia, who is the SmackDown women's champion, and we're not going to get them to lose at all. So I don't even know why this match was booked. Don't even know why it was booked in the first place. Legend and Jackson got into the ring and laid out Io and Kyrie. And obviously this was done to promote their match on NXT tomorrow night. Raquel Rodriguez looked like she was moving in slow motion. That's what it looked like to me. This does not bode well or farewell for the ongoing story of Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Rhea. I think we need to end it, and end it pretty soon. Because legitimately, it is dying on national television right before your very eyes. As Morgan and Rodriguez appeared to face off with Jackson and Legend, Rhea Ripley's music hit. Crowd popped because they didn't give a shit about anything going on in this match. Everybody loves Io, but nobody cared about anything else. Rhea Ripley headbutted Rodriguez, threw her out of the ring. Ripley prevented Morgan from escaping, but Morgan hit her with a code breaker. Ripley bounced back with a knee strike, applied the prism trap. Rodriguez tried to help, but Ripley drop-kicked her off the apron. Ripley set up for a riptide, but Dominic pulled Liv to safety. Ripley pulled Dom into the ring and then put him into the prism trap. But he was pulled to safety by Mommy, Raquel Rodriguez, and Liv Morgan. Great. Dominic got the prism lock applied. Awesome. We're going to get that riptide one way or another when she wins that championship. You know it's coming. None of this was particularly good at all. I didn't give a shit. Adam Pearce. He tried to confront Rollins, but Reed immediately attacked Rollins from behind. They were separated again as Adam Pearce was legitimately screaming at both of them. Why are they going about this? Why are they fighting? You just couldn't wait. I was going to give you guys what you wanted anyway, but you just couldn't wait. So he said, yes, the match is made for Crown Jewel. Now get the fuck out of my building. We did not see them again for the rest of the night. Reed, as Rollins was being carried away, he looked over at Rollins' direction and said, this match against him is the worst mistake that Seth Rollins has ever made. I'm looking forward to it at Crown Jewel. Should be a banger. We got a vignette airing on the War Raiders, who said their rise time after time with new armor and this time without fear. They stood near a bonfire and Ivar and Eric talked about their ancestors and what they are going to bring to the WWE Tag Team Division. Love it. Adding the Motor City Machine Guns. We got the War Raiders back on television. We got the Creeds. Penta and Phoenix will be in sooner rather than later. I love it. I wonder if there is now an urgency to create more engaging tag team divisions in WWE. I wonder if this is going to be the revitalization of tag team wrestling in WWE. It certainly feels like it's heading in that direction. I don't know for sure, but with the Motor City Machine Guns coming on in, I could see them really being the catalyst for change. And the Motor City Machine Guns, they're wrestling DIY on Friday night in New York City, man. What a banger that is going to be. Can't wait. You want an NXT TakeOver Classic? Friday. The Machine Guns did well on Friday in their debut. They wrestled A-Town Down Under, I believe, and Los Garza. Triple threat match, number one container match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I do think that they did very well. We didn't really get a full spectrum of what they are capable of. I do think that you'll see that on Friday against DIY. If you're not sold on the machine guns, you'll be sold on Friday after they wrestle DIY. Judgment Day. They met backstage. Finn Balor told Liv Morgan he didn't like hearing that Damian Priest was gunning for the World Championship again. Uh-oh. Dominic said maybe he would be the one to beat Gunther. Sure thing, bro. It's good to dream. It's good to dream. Carlito and JD McNuggets, they both laughed at Dominic saying he's going to be the one to beat Gunther. Rodriguez and the rest of Judgment Day all looked at Carlito laughing. And Rodriguez asked, what do you even do around here? What do you do in the Judgment Day? He says he brought the cool factor to the Judgment Day. She was not impressed at all with his terrible flirting. He realized that answer wasn't enough, so he called himself a fixer. I'm going to go ask Adam Pearce, and I'm going to fix this right now. Sure thing, guy. Sure thing. Tag Team Championship, #1 Contender Tournament match. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee with Zelina Vega against the Creeds. This is Brutus and Julius with Chad Gable and Ivy Nile on the outside. This was very good. Anytime the Creeds are in the ring, I like my television. Dragon Lee wiped out the Creeds with a dive, and the babyfaces were in control. We go to a quick commercial break after a beautiful dive by Dragon Lee. Creeds were in control after the break. Ray made a hot tag, hit Brutus with a senton, seated senton, and a tornado DDT for 2. Ray tried a springboard move, but Brutus caught him, hit a moonsault. Julius followed with a moonsault of his own, but Dragon Lee broke up the cover. Dragon hit Julius with a double foot stomp and wiped out Brutus with a flip dive. Ray went for a 619, but stopped upon seeing Gable on the apron. Julius used the distraction to hit a knee strike. Vega, on the outside, took the slipper, the chonkala, what do they call it? Chonkala? And threw it at Gable. She legitimately threw a slipper at him. Nile went after her, but Vega hit a Hurricane Rana on Ivy Nile. Ray hit Julius with a 6-1. Listen, I was beaten with the spoon, the wooden spoon. That was the choice of weaponry from my mother. The wooden spoon. I don't know about you guys. It was either that or a belt. She threw a sandal at him. Chonkala. There you go. Ray hit Julius with a 619. Dragon Lee followed with a frog splash. 1, 2, 3, and LWO win the #1 Container Tournament match for the tag team titles. I am kind of frustrated with the fact that American Made continues to lose on television. I absolutely had them pegged to win this match because, let's be real, I think it's about time. We should not be making excuses as to why they shouldn't be in this tag team title tournament. Final. The War Raiders, the LWO, and the New Day. The War Raiders are going on to win that match. The War Raiders versus the Judgment Day look to be the match that is going to be set for the tag team titles. You're not going to bring back the War Raiders and have them lose this tag team title tournament final. That would not make creative sense whatsoever. But the Creeds were in there. They are a believable team to actually beat the War Raiders if you wanted to go in that direction. Why are we taking American Made and not making them into winners is what I want to know. Chad Gable has ultimately been a loser. The Creeds have ultimately been a loser. They have 9 times out of 10, they are losing. If they can't go on and advance in this tournament and have a shot to win the tag team titles, I don't know what we're doing with them. My recommendation is a trade, get them off of Raw, and get them on SmackDown, where they have a fresh slew of opponents to work with. Chad Gable has the United States Championship to go after, which would fit American Made to a T. Can you imagine Gable versus LA Knight? I think that could be the best move for American Made. Get them off of Raw, conjure up a trade between Pierce and Aldis, and get them off of Raw and put them on SmackDown. I don't even know who they would get in return. At this point, I don't even give a shit. I don't. Let's get them off the show and get them on SmackDown. That, to me, would probably be the best creative move because there is nothing for them to do on Monday Night Raw at all. At all. Unless we start doing Chad Gable going after the Intercontinental Championship, and he is the next one to wrestle Bron Breakker for the IC title. I don't see it. I don't know what we're doing. Damage Control. They complained to Pierce in the back. He saw that Jackson and Legend interfered, and he said he would talk to the other GMs to figure out a solution. Again, why are they on the show? Why are we allowing this cross-promotion between all these shows? Nobody has said anything. NXT, Raw, SmackDown, all infiltrating each other's shows with no explanation on TV. Carlito. He walked into Adam Pearce's office. Damage Control was leaving. They were speaking Japanese. Carlito looked over at Adam Pearce and said, I got to learn Chinese. Japanese, Carlito. Not Chinese, Japanese. That's an easy way to get canceled by Gen Z on social media. I'm sure they're already fucking having Carlito fired and canceled on social media as we speak. They'll have his head on a stake by Tuesday morning. Carlito proposed a match. Gunther versus Dominic Mysterio. Adam Pearce laughed hysterically. Pearce said Dom hasn't done anything to earn a championship match. But why are you here asking for a match on Dominic's behalf? Carlito basically begged him for it. Adam Pearce said, well, if Dominic could beat a former world champion next week, he would consider it. Carlito thanked him and then asked Adam Pearce, did he get a new haircut? Adam Pearce said, no. Thank you for asking. And then mumbled under his breath, man, do I need a drink. Adam Pearce is always welcome in the OTS venue. Does a great job. Jackie Redmond interviewed Bron Breakker. She asked if he felt more confident knowing Jey had now been preoccupied with his family. Bron says he didn't come here for a cheesesteak. He came back to win his title. He respected Jey as a champion, but Jey wasn't focused. That was exactly why he would take back what belonged to him. He was a badass, and it was time to do what badasses do. And yes, guys, the former champion that Adam Pearce is probably alluding to is Damian Priest. Because in the next segment, Kathy Kelly interviewed Gunther. Or Gunther. Carlito called him Gunther. He said Cody Rhodes kept dragging the people closest to him into his business matters, mentioning his daughter. That was unnecessary, but Rhodes just loves drama. Gunther says he would be in Brooklyn on Friday for SmackDown. Damian Priest walks on in. Damian Priest told him, relax, I'm not here for a fight right now. I'm also not looking for a handout. So he looks at Gunther, and Damian Priest, is eyeing the World Heavyweight Championship. So he says he has no issue with Gunther anymore. He says it's only fair that he should get back what he never lost in the first place. Balor screwed him over. He took care of Balor. Now he wants what he didn't lose in the first place, and that's the World Heavyweight Championship. He said he'll earn it, and he'll be waiting for him after Crown Jewel. Gunther said, yeah, good for you. And he walked away. Gunther is fucking great, man. Yeah. After all Damian Priest said to him, he's like, yeah, good for you, man. And he walks away. Love it, man. Gunther is so fucking good, man. He is so good. Looks like they're setting that up for possibly, we don't know what Punk is doing. Not going to make any wild predictions yet. It could be Priest versus Gunther. It could be Punk versus Gunther at Survivor Series. We don't really know yet. But they have a lot of weeks before we get to Survivor Series. We could very well see Damian Priest versus Gunther in the main event of a Monday Night Raw, while also at the same time, WWE starts building up CM Punk versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, because Punk has already made a promise that when he gets rid of McIntyre, he will be gunning for the World Championship. Again, a nice, interesting development here on Monday Night Raw. We don't know which way they're going to go and what the World Championship match, if there will be one, at Survivor Series. I would assume there would be. Nice, interesting situation here. Please do not put the Ethan Page narrative out in the open. I and many others do not want to see it. I think that sounds awful. Main event. Jey Uso. He went one-on-one with Bron Breakker. This was for the Intercontinental Championship. And they were given 20 minutes in this Intercontinental Championship match. I thought this was very good. I thought this was actually on par. I don't know if I would say it was better, but I think the overall match from start to finish with the ending might push it past being better than their initial match where Jey beat Bron to win the Intercontinental Championship. That was a great moment, don't get me wrong. Great for Jey Uso, happy for Jey Uso. But I think this one just had more of a substantial story where we're a little bit more excited about what's happening now moving forward. But this was still a very good match between the two. Goes to show you how good Bron Breakker is, man. Bron Breakker is carrying these matches and holding more than his own. Excellent stuff here. So this got plenty of time. And they have plenty of time to spare at the end, too. Let the story really breathe and let it play out. I really liked it. So they did go to commercial break legitimately in 60 seconds. As soon as the bell rung, we go to commercial break. Jey was in control before the break. Bron was in control after the break. There's no picture-in-picture, so we don't really know. Bron drove him into the ring post and hit a backstabber on the apron. Bron hits a backbreaker and did push-ups. Once again, he did that in the first match instead of going for a cover. Bron followed with a standing moonsault for a 2. Jey fought back with big right hands. And we got an enziguri by Bron, or enziguri by Jey, rather. But Bron hit a Frankensteiner off the top for a 2. We go to a second commercial break. Jey shoved Bron off the ropes, hits a spear. He goes for a cover. He gets a 2 count. All of a sudden, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu are seen walking through the crowd. You start to hear a big kind of ovation in the crowd. They start to get a little bit more lively. They see the Bloodline walking through the crowd. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu are first seen. Sikoa had hard copy tickets, so he showed everybody that he was paid, or he had paid to be there. But I don't know why you're a WWE super. Well, listen, I guess they did answer the question. I guess WWE, they made sense of the Bloodline showing up, right? They had tickets to be there. Oh, look at that, man. Not their show. They don't belong here. They're not allowed here, but they had tickets to show that they purchased and are allowed to be here, but then they ended up jumping the barricade anyway. So I guess they did make sense of that. Friday, they did not. Jey did not have a ticket. Jey just fucking came through the crowd and jumped the barricade and got into the ring like he fucking owned the joint. So, Jey, he confronted Solo, who said they were only there to help. Bron tried using this distraction, but Jey tossed him into the ring post. All of a sudden, on the opposite side of the barricade, we see Tanga Loa and Tama Tonga. They appeared in the front row behind Jey. So Jey super kicked Tanga Loa. Tama Tonga then leapt off the barricade, but Jey super kicked him too. So he took out the Tongans. They're out of commission. Solo hopped the barricade and told Jey he just needed to join the Bloodline. Join your family and join the Bloodline. Bron tried to spear Jey because of this distraction, but he moved, and Solo was knocked down instead. So Solo, he pushed Jey out of the way, and Jey did not get the spear. Solo took the spear instead. Fatu hopped the barricade. He looked down at Solo. He got in Bron's face. We're going to stare down from Bron Breakker and Jacob Fatu. If that's not a WrestleMania match, a future WrestleMania match, I don't know what the fuck is. It's going to be a banger when it happens. Crowd got into that big time. Jey wiped both of them out with a suicide dive. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome." Jey tried an Uso splash. Bron got the knees up. Bron went for a spear. Jey hit consecutive super kicks and hit a spear. Jey hit the Uso splash. Bron kicked out. He kicked out. Tanga Loa and Tama Tonga leapt onto the apron. Pierce and the officials ran down and legitimately put their hands on the tag team champions and pulled them off the apron. Jey went for a running spear around the ring, but Fatu super kicked him in the face. Fatu also gave him a Samoan drop on the announce table. Fatu grabbed Solo, and they left through the crowd. Bron shoved Jey into the ring and ran the ropes 26 miles an hour. As Joe Tessitore says, spear, 1, 2, 3, Bron wins, and he is now a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. There you go. I thought what they did was great. I thought the ending angle was great. I thought the intrigue with Solo Sikoa showing a little weakness for his brother. Meanwhile, Jacob Fatu had to pick up the fucking pieces and clean up the mess that Solo Sikoa sought to do, but did not finish. That's going to be the biggest storyline going on into SmackDown. Why didn't Solo do what he needed to do and cost Jey the title? Why was there that momentary hesitation? Why was that hesitation showcased tonight? He did not harm his brother. In fact, he took a spear for his brother. Jacob Fatu had to clean up the mess. He eventually super kicked Jey Uso after what Jey Uso told Jacob Fatu on SmackDown. If you look at me sideways again like that, I'm going to drop you right here and kick your ass. Jacob Fatu got his little revenge after Friday's smart remarks from Jey Uso. Now he's without the Intercontinental title. Bron Breakker's the Intercontinental Champion. Now we can get Bloodline family business without the Intercontinental Championship hindering Jey Uso. They were going to take that title. They needed to take that title off of Jey Uso before they went and did the Bloodline story. It would not make any sense for him to go on over there as the Intercontinental Champion and commit to the Usos once again and commit to the Bloodline again as Intercontinental Champion. How is this going to play out post-Crown Jewel? Is there going to be a trade? Is Jey Uso going to be traded back to SmackDown to do this thing with his brother? To do this with Roman? I don't know. That's a question that many people aren't asking as well. Right now, we're under the presumption of WWE just being very lax with the draft and the brand split rules. Raw's on SmackDown, SmackDown's on Raw, because Crown Jewel is showcasing Raw vs. SmackDown, 2 Raw vs. SmackDown main events. So they don't give a shit. They're being very lenient with the crisscross. What happens when Crown Jewel's over and we got 4 weeks to go till Survivor Series? Jey Uso's not going to be allowed to show up on SmackDown willingly and freely. Crown Jewel will be over and done with. Is anybody asking that question? I don't know. But this was the right move. Bloodline costing Jey. Jey now has every reason to want to get back at the tag team or at the Bloodline. Speaking of the tag team titles on SmackDown, Jey has every reason to get back at the Bloodline now. Motor City Machine Guns are wrestling DIY for the shot to win #1 contenders for the tag team titles. DIY is not going to beat the Motor City Machine Guns. Motor City Machine Guns look to be headed towards a tag team title match with the Bloodline, Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa. Now, if that's the tag team title match, I could see WWE's not going to beat the Machine Guns right out of the gate. They're going to crown the Motor City Machine Guns the tag team champions. But who do you think is going to cost the Bloodline those tag team champions? Jey Uso is going to cost them the tag team championships because they cost Jey Uso the Intercontinental Championship. And then we'll be off and running for the Bloodline versus Bloodline Civil War War Games Survivor Series. That's how it's going to play out. Will we see Jey on Friday night? Sure. He's got some business to conduct with Jimmy. He's got business to conduct with Roman. The story about Solo, he took the spear for Jey. Jacob had to clean up the mess. Is there going to be any dissension there between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa? How is Jey going to get back at the Bloodline now for costing him the Intercontinental title? Just like I mentioned, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY. Motor City's going to beat DIY next week. They'll get that tag team title match. They lose those titles thanks to Jey Uso, and that is his revenge for costing him the Intercontinental Championship. Motor City Machine Guns are going to be the new tag team champions on Friday night. Book it. Calling it right now. I thought what they did was great. It gave meaning, it gave reason, it gave progression to what we're about to see over the next 5 weeks. I thought Monday Night Raw was good. Wasn't great, but I thought it was good, and it was easily the best 2-hour Monday Night Raw so far in the temporary 2-hour Monday Night Raw era. Thank you guys very much for all your support. Greatly appreciate you guys showing up tonight, man. Thank you very much. Love it. Absolutely love it. We got 2,700 people in here, man. 2,700 people in here, bro. #1 live stream on all of YouTube right now. Talking WWE. You guys know it, man. I love it. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support. Through all the hate, through all the nasty, nasty comments. With all these pro wrestlers coming at me for absolutely no reason. I appreciate you guys backing me up, bro. I do. If you guys missed today's video, go check it out. There's a lot to digest there. But I prove how right I am in everything I do, man. I make a lot of sense. And I prove that I still love AEW, but man, I am very angry about the way they are conducting business, the way they're handling themselves, and the way that they treat their fan base. The way that they treat their real supporters. Go check that video out, man. A lot there to really digest. Tonight's show is sponsored by Magic Mind. AJ Francis could use some Magic Mind because apparently his mind went blank. Philadelphia, WrestleMania weekend. My favorite little bottle, man. Every morning I open up a bottle of Magic Mind. I take my favorite sparkling water, and just like that, man, like magic, I pour it right into either this can or a mug filled with my favorite sparkling water. That's all you gotta do. It's the first thing I have in the morning, man. Shake it up. Do what you gotta do. And you got a nice little tasty beverage for you that is going to keep you going all day long. Delish. It tastes good too. Say goodbye to feeling amped up. And hello to feeling dialed in. Midday crashes are the worst, man. Midday naps are the worst. I feel very lazy and unproductive when I take my midday nap. I used to take a lot of midday naps. As soon as I incorporated Magic Mind into my diet, into my regimen, into my routine, no more midday naps. I take one in the morning. I take one on the way to the gym. I even have one during a big night like tonight with Monday night. Sharper mind, less stress, stronger motivation, and better energy. You feel all those things when you are under the magic. For sharper mind, they got that lion mane's mushroom. Energy, ceremonial matcha. Cordyceps mushroom. B2, B3, and B12 vitamins. And for less stress, they got ashwagandha, turmeric, vitamin C, and vitamin D3. Love it. You guys want to try it yourself? MagicMind.com/JD from NY. Once again, that's MagicMind.com/JD from NY. Use that promo code JD from NY20. Save 20% off your first purchase or up to 47% off a subscription, which is a great deal. Try the magic. Magic Mind. Powered by Off the Script. Thank you guys very much, man. Appreciate you guys very much. Go and check it out. I use it. I love it. And I know you guys will as well. Let's get into these super chats. I have not watched the Undertaker Donald Trump podcast, but I heard it was a good listen. I will watch it. I will listen to it. I heard it was not really all that political. It was more along the lines of two guys bantering back and forth, two guys shooting the shit. This is another thing in the community. Oh, The Undertaker, he sucks. All this discourse over The Undertaker. I don't give a shit who The Undertaker is affiliated with politically. I think everybody knew who he was affiliated with politically. You can not like Mark Calloway, that's fine. You don't have to sit here and tell me Mark Calloway is your cup of coffee. You could sit there and fucking hate who he is voting for, fine. But you can't take away from the fact that The Undertaker is a living fucking legend and the greatest of all time. And there will never be another Undertaker. Stop mixing Mark Calloway and The Undertaker. I don't give a fuck who he's affiliated with. That doesn't take away from the fact that The Undertaker is still one of the greatest that will ever live. There will never be another Undertaker. Anybody that says so otherwise is a fucking idiot. You're corny. Stop. People ruining relationships because of fucking politics, man. How fucking lame are you? Ridiculous. Michelle with a $2 super chat. It was nice to see serious Seth and no sing-along. Yeah, well, he's got to be serious, Michelle. It's Bronson Reed. Get this guy out of Nature's Little Encounters. You sound very weird. You sound like a weird person. Get out of here. Micah, $1.99. Can you play with subs Black Ops 6 Friday before SmackDown? I don't know, bro. I may actually stream some on Twitch. Shout out to my Twitch family, by the way. Shout out to all my Twitch family watching over on the Purple Snake. Micah, I don't know, bro. I'll see what happens. I haven't even purchased the game yet. I did not like the beta. I thought the beta was terrible. Apex with a $1.99. Now this is how you do a 2-hour Raw. Yes, it was very good. Michelle with a 2. No one helped Jey. Jey better not be Roman's lackey. I guess you got to tune into Friday to find out. OTS Tribal Queen with 34 months. Let's have a puff or a drink on good old Tony Khan. The guy who went above and beyond to put our man JD over. Tribal Queen, appreciate you. King Mo Jackson. Trish Stratus or Maurice. Freddie or Leatherface. Trish Stratus and Freddie. Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. Apex with a $1.99. Looks like Sean Ross Sapp is back beefing to you, JD. No, he's not. We talked in the DMs. Nothing's wrong. AWC Legend with a $9.99. The Marks really thought they did something trying to call you out, especially the fat otaku. Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean the guy that lives outside fucking In-N-Out Burger? He begs for the scraps every night over at In-N-Out Burger. JD, you're the GOAT, and they all cry because they can't accept how real you are. Bro, otaku is a guy that panders and begs for any relevancy. Meanwhile, he should be begging for a fucking weight loss regimen. The guy is allergic to the treadmill. The guy fears for his life. Like Tony Khan feared for his life against CM Punk. He fears for his life when he fucking hears the word treadmill. This fucking geek's got nothing else better to do, man. Snowman Khan with the 279. Goons don't realize they brought eyes to your channel. Yeah, and then most of them will figure out that I'm not a bad guy and that I do this better than anybody else in the space. That we do it better, we look better, we sound better. Nobody looks like us. Thanks. That dude lives in San Francisco? That says more than I need to know. Snowman Khan, thank you, brother. Learning Tree Jericho, 8131 with a $20 super chat. Funny how Tony was silent when Dax called you a dumbass and Jade called you a basement dweller for your opinion. TK's response was reckless. This only entices more AEW talent to attack you for your opinion. AEW is a disease. Learning Tree, you are absolutely spot on, man. That's comment of the night. Comment of the night. I said everything I needed to say in my video. Where were they? If you guys listen, 2,200 of you in here, man. Listen, we could really make a stink. Go to my social media page. You'll see me tweet at Tony Khan. It happened during Raw. I posted a screenshot of their internal AEW guidelines for social media behavior. Go retweet it and leave a comment. Seems like Dax and some other people in the company, including Tony, have broken their own guidelines. Why have guidelines and why have rules if you're just going to break them? What happened to leading by example? AEW enhances and encourages bullying. They do. Especially if you're against what they do, because they can never be wrong. You are wrong. They are always right. That's the type of environment that they've created. They've created a bubble for themselves where no criticism is allowed. How could you? Stop watching us. You don't like us. Go retweet it. Share it. Blast it. Thank you, Learning Tree. Andrew Cool with the $2 super chat. You should do a roundtable discussion, just like WrestleMania 39. King Mo Jackson, 199. Wardlow and Brian Cage should go to WWE. We would love to see it. I love Wardlow. And Brian Cage is very good. Big fan of Cage as well. Apex, 199. Yankees versus Dodgers. How do you bet, JD? 7 games? Yes. I think it goes to Game 7. Apex with the 199 also says, I think when Solo loses at Survivor Series, Rock casts him out. I could see that. It's going to be interesting on what role The Rock plays going into Survivor Series. Best in the World, Matt and David Thiering. Thank you for your super chats. YouTube is not really giving me the full spectrum of super chats right now. I can't really. It says I have 0 in super chats. So I don't know what the problem is, but I know they were the ones who donated earlier. So thank you guys very much for your generosity. You guys are awesome. David Thiering and Best in the World, Matt, with your super chats. Apex, Game 7, yes. Joseph with a $5 super chat. Braun vs. Jacob at SummerSlam next year in New Jersey would be fire, as Big E would say. Big men slapping meat. I don't want to hear any men slapping meat, Joseph. Please, keep that shit outside the venue. Andre Benson, Braun Jacob, take my money. Absolutely. Jason Barker. Don't feel too bad with a 20. Don't feel too bad about the Tony Khan situation. I had my own situation happening that brought in people like Wheezy, Blonde, and Minnie. My tweet had 20K plus views on it, which is my version of viral on my Twitter. Why would you get involved? Why would you argue with 2 of the most positive people in the community? I don't really understand that, Jason. What are they arguing about as far as Tony? They don't even watch I don't even think they're allowed to watch AEW. I don't know if they're allowed to watch AEW. If I had to make a logical guesstimation, they are strictly WWE influencers paid and advertised by WWE. I don't think they're allowed to watch AEW. David, $100 super chat. Thank you, brother. Jamel Turney with a $4.99. JD, you know it's criminal that we never got Adam Cole versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Well, Adam Cole is withering away in AEW due to their shit creative, and everybody wishes Adam Cole would return to Triple H so that the guy could be fucking revived to the Adam Cole of old. Cornette, St. Kane, and Undertaker's reputations are damaged now. Apex with the $1.99. No, they are not. I don't know why anybody would think their reputations are damaged. Give me a break. Their reputations where? Outside of pro wrestling, couldn't give a single shit. In pro wrestling, they are still legends. Dan Tanner with a $5 super chat. What's up, bro? New sub. This Bloodline news story is genius. Now Jey is definitely out for revenge by any means necessary. Absolutely. Welcome, Dan. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He is going to cost the Bloodline the tag team titles on SmackDown, and the Motor City Machine Guns will be the new tag team champions. Acceptive with a new membership. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you very much. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Triple M with a $5 super chat. Dungeon grenade launcher with envious bait and switch doesn't exist. Me and Jesse farmed first encounter, and he got the God Roll special grenade launcher, though. If ever want fast farms, let me know. Brother, I'm going to be on tomorrow, I think. I'm going to need to learn, and I want to get me a Cascade Point and bait and switch. Heavy grenade launcher. And I'd like an auto rifle, too, I think. Captain Solo with a $10 super chat. OTS for life, the hardest working podcaster in the IWC. Yeets. Yeah. What is your prediction for Nick Nemeth versus Joe Hendry? Joe Hendry is going to be the new TNA World Champion. ACW All-Star Championship Wrestling, Ohio. 24 months. What's up, JD? I want to switch up my beer. I want to drink something different than normal light beer. What do you suggest to try? That's tough coming from a light beer, bro. I urge you to go out and get a pumpkin spice beer that is very flavorful and very tasty. I would start with something that I know everybody would like. Southern Tier Pumpkin. You can find it in your local supermarkets, or if you just want to chill, nice gin and tonic with a nice slice of lime. Tonic comes in all different types of flavors. Gin comes in all different types of flavors. Or just a nice whiskey on the rocks. Mash up a sugar cube or some simple syrup. Couple of drops of simple syrup and some whiskey over a nice ice cube. Good to go. Eric Gibson with a $5 super chat. 2,700 viewers. Looks like Tony McMahon's comments cost you so many viewers. Seems like there are a few more, actually. Thanks, Tony. Keep it up, JD. #1. Eric, you said it, brother. Best in the world, Matt. $5 super chat. Tony Khan needs to pay attention to his wrestling show rather than watch Time Cop on loop in the back at all his shows. I don't know what the fuck he's doing backstage. Nor do I care. Apex with the $1.99. My bad. That guy Alex who shilled for Tony today. Absolutely irrelevant nobody, Apex. Alex or Alexis, whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, some beta fucking name, Alexis. Alexis Cardoza or whatever the fuck his name is over at Fightful. I don't know exactly what he does over at Fightful, but he conveniently, he's also on my Twitter wall if you want to go give him a piece of your mind too. He conveniently left out my original tweet and my reply to Tony to push a narrative that I'm a nut job. Goes to show you how unfair everybody is and how jealous everybody is. You're welcome for the content, Alexis. Fuck out of here. I dare these people to come up to me at these shows and call me a nut job to my face. Would love it. You know how many haters I met in real life? One, and he ran away. And his name was Ryan Satin. I was going up the escalator, he was coming down the escalator. He stared a fucking hole at me. Clone Force with the $4.99. Did I see Vince Russo and Maven debate last week on Pierce's channel and your thoughts on it? You're the best, JD. I did not watch it yet. I only seen clips. Marcus B. Is Gunther's title bigger? No. No, his title is not bigger. I don't know what you're talking about. OJ with a $5 super chat. Strange that no one cares about logic and reasoning anymore. It's all about feelings nowadays. This goes for wrestling and anything in life nowadays. Yeah. Nobody understands, man. Nobody cares. Major with a $4.99. NXT is going to run the old ECW arena in Philly next month. The 2,000-seat arena will feel great for NXT. The crowd will be rabid. Yeah, they'll probably fit, I would say, what, maybe 1,400, maybe? 1,200 or so, somewhere around there. Should be good. Tony Brown with a $4.99. I love Liv's sweet cheeks. Yes, everybody does, Tony. And Adam Casper with a $5 super chat. JD, you are awesome always. Do you like Sam Adams' Oktoberfest? I do not. Sam Adams has a little bit more of a fancier pumpkin beer. I think it's called Jack-O-Lantern or something like that. You got to really look for it. It's not really well known, but their specialty beers are a lot better than their mainstream stuff. What a lot of people don't understand is that Sam Adams makes some really top-end, top-shelf shit. You won't see it anywhere. Anyway, thank you guys very much for all your support, man. I'm about to get out of here. I'm exhausted. It's been a long day. I'm mentally drained. Appreciate you guys very much for hanging out with me. And I appreciate you guys battling the sickos and the weirdos in the community that just don't understand what the fuck is going on here, man. I will keep you guys posted on what's going on, man. On Thursday, Mr. Baydala and myself may be doing something. I will let you guys know. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell. The bell. I was going to say the belt. I'm toast. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Hit that subscribe button down below. Follow, social, YouTube. Go check out all the content. There's plenty of content. More than you need, man. Hit that thumbs up. We need 60 more likes for 1,000. Thank you to all the Super Chat love tonight. Appreciate you guys very much. Salad Monster and I will be live tomorrow with TNT Tuesday Night Titans right here on Off the Script. See you guys later.